Hey everybody, I'm so excited to do this video today to share with you something amazing that is happening right now. There is going to be another Fire the Grid meditation, prayer, celebration on July the 19th, 2021, and I'll explain a little bit about that. But first I just want to just give you some of the social media sites that you can go to connect to this event and find out more information. And also, if it resonates with you, then you can share the information from those social media sites, because there is not a ton of time before July the 19th, and so this needs to go viral as fast as possible to get the number of meditators that we're shooting for. We're shooting for 8,000, which is the square root of 1 of the world population, and we may get many more. The last time that Samoiya Shelley Yates, who is the messenger for the beings that she's in contact with, the last time that she did a Fire the Grid meditation, she inspired millions of people, and the low estimate for the number of participants was 20 million. You can go to any of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not a huge presence on Twitter, but we're there, and as well TikTok and YouTube, where you can find videos of Shelley speaking, sharing the message, and sharing the information that the beings have imparted to her to share with the world. It's really important information. I feel like a lot of it I've never heard before from anybody else. And actually, she has a compiled PDF summarizing all of the information, which you can get from her website. So at the moment though, because we're just about to launch, I'm not sure exactly what the website address is going to be, so I'm going to throw it in the description. But definitely go to the YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and sign up. And if you are active on any of those social media platforms, then please share. If you can just think of one person that might be interested in what benevolent, multidimensional extraterrestrials would have to say to humanity, and what their advice would be about how we can assist in this very tumultuous and challenging time, then please find that person and just forward some information to them, and hopefully we can get the number of participants that we're looking for July the 19th. Okay, so now that I have got that out of the way, I'm going to share with you a brief summary of who Samoiya Shelley Yates is and how this all came about. So she drowned in 2002 with her 4-year-old son. And you can hear her tell that story on the YouTube channel. So if you just search on YouTube Fire the Grid, and then in the list of videos, go to the one called Vancouver Speech. I'll put a link up in the corner here somewhere as well in the description. But it's an incredible story, and she's such a good speaker. So the basic story there is that while she was dead for 15 minutes, she went to the other side and she met multidimensional light beings who shared with her instructions on how to save her son's life. And when she woke up on the shore of the lake and the rescuers were all standing around her, she screamed out that her baby was still in the lake. So then they had to go and get him. So she was under the water for 15 minutes. He was under the water for 30 minutes or more. And was basically in a comatose state when they rescued him and brought him to the hospital. And the doctors told her to unplug him, but she went into the hallway to think of the hospital, and all of a sudden the memories of the near-death experience flooded back into her mind, and she remembered the instructions that the beings told her to do. So they said that she needed to do an energy transfer, and she had to cycle people through the hospital room and have them sit with their hands on her son's body, and all they needed to do was speak about their joy, talk about what is so good about life and the things that he would enjoy if he came back. So, like puppies and ice cream and music and all of these things increased their frequency in their cells to move this healing energy into her son. So she had people 24/7 sitting for 20 minutes with her son in the hospital for 3 days, and he miraculously lived. Doctors had absolutely no idea how it could happen because they thought that it was some other thing that had nothing to do with energy, and they totally discounted, of course, Shelley's story because they're in a different paradigm. But she went home and she had her son with her, and she was very happy that this miracle had occurred. And what ensued was that the beings continued to talk to her, and they said, "What you did for your dying son, you can do for a dying planet." And they proceeded to give her instructions, telling her that she needed to gather together people all around the world at the same time to meditate during an energy window where they were going to infuse the planet with high frequency to help save the dying planet. At the time, the energy system or the body of the planet was very deteriorated, much like Shelley's son in the comatose state in the hospital. Shelley was instructed that she had to do everything for free, and she started to promote it, and all they did was send one email letter out, and it went viral. George Nuri got a hold of the letter, and he wanted Shelley to go on his show where he had 25 million listeners. And the next day the website broke because there were 43 million full reads on the website in the first month. It got to a point where it was 750,000 new visitors every day. And they held the meditation, and millions of people participated, and it was really awesome. So Shelley also did a Fire of the Grid in 2009 as well as 2011. And then Shelley kind of dropped out of sight. It was very stressful for her. She's got a lot of trauma, which is something she's already shared with the world when she shared her story. If you listen to the Vancouver speech on YouTube on the Fire of the Grid channel, you'll hear about it. And it was too overwhelming to continue doing events like that, worldwide meditations like that, and speaking and touring and going all around the world to do that. So she dropped out, and all of this while the beings have been providing her with instructions and information and messages and ideas for how to help uplift humanity out of the quagmire that we're in. And every time that they had presented the information to her, they said, "For your consideration." So it was always an opportunity. But now, so recently, within the last few months, the beings have been very insistent and they're very pressured. So she keeps hearing the word now, now, now. And the reason why is because of the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Shelley describes, and you can find all of this in her summary, which will be available on the website very soon. I'm literally, right now, I'm working on the project for Shelley with Annie Tremblay, who's her previous manager. So this is a really amazing opportunity for me. I'm so excited to be working on this for her. And we've got everything ready, and we're just waiting for a few last little pieces to fit in before we can do an official launch. So in that summary that you can get on the website, you can read everything about what these beings have told Shelley. So I'm just going to take a brief segue about who were the beings. Shelley interprets them as extraterrestrials. They're multidimensionals, they're light beings, they're very highly evolved beings. They will not tell her where they're from. They are, from what we understand, they may be from a star system, but they told her that if they told her where they were from, then that would just contribute to more separation and division. So they're giving messages of hope. They are teaching people how to live high frequency and what that does for each other and the world around us when we can elevate our own personal fields. And the information in the PDF that is so important is that we are moving from the fourth field to the fifth field. So we're in the middle of a big shift, and it's going to be a quantum leap, much like we went from Homo sapiens to Homo erectus. And the thing about this shift is that in the fifth field, it is so high frequency that anybody that is of a lower frequency can simply not enter. And so there's actually a picture on the internet that Shelley talks about. If you look at it, if you search the terms planets dividing or well, I think of it as mitosis, like the planet is going through mitosis, but there's something happening where there's going to be an old world or an old fourth field, and people are going to stay there. There are going to be some people that stay there, and there's also going to be this opportunity to move into the fifth field if we can raise our vibration and gain access cross over into the fifth field. I'm just waiting for a helicopter to go by. So the way that we gain entry into the fifth field, it seems to Shelley, and the information that comes from the beings, sometimes it is super duper specific. When she did the first Fire of the Grid, it was like, these symbols with this much gap between them, this song, this color font, like everything they said was absolutely detailed. But some of the things that they described to her are very general, and so she doesn't know how the shift to the fifth field is going to happen. She's been shown different visions, and it might happen differently for individuals. So there might be some people who see portals, there might be some people who see rainbow bridges, there might be 3 days of darkness, it might be the situation which is described in the Bible where one is taken and one is left. But it's important to understand what is happening so that we can raise our frequency and move to the new world. Because in the new world is abundance and freedom and healing for the planet and for us. And the old world, it doesn't look that hot if you look at that image on the internet that Shelley refers to. The key to all of this is to raising your frequency, and Shelley gives information on how you can raise your frequency. It's basically listening to music, doing random acts of kindness, and finding your human joy, doing it without judgment and saying thank you. So it's really about giving yourself permission to enjoy this life and to do the things that make yourself happy, and understanding too how that affects other people. And I mean, there's just such a huge amount of information. I'm just not sure how much I'm just gonna like share as much as possible in this video. I guess you'll just stop watching if you're bored. But basically, how we affect other people when we're living high frequency is based on the concept of the grid. So Shelley says that there's a human grid connected to Earth, and like every animal has a grid. So the birds have a grid and the dogs have a grid. And this grid is made up of hexagons that are all connected together. And every person has one hexagon, and we are connected to everyone else. Now, the hexagon itself, the structure is hollow like a frosted straw. And inside the hexagon is a light, and this photon of light is your true essence, and it goes around the hexagon. And when you are happy and you are living in high frequency, then this photon is just winging around the hexagon really quickly, and it's generating energy, and it's flooding all of the other hexagons around it. In fact, when you are vibrating in a high frequency, you are flooding 1,000 hexagons around you. So it's really exponential. However, if you are feeling sad, angry, resentful, self-loathing, depressed, like all of these anxiety, all of these low frequency feelings, the little photonic light is just going around the hexagon very slowly, and you're actually drawing energy from the grid. So you can imagine, with the state of the world as it is in right now, all of the fear and the anxiety and the conflict and the differences that are bringing people, separating people, how that's affecting the human grid right now. So on an individual basis, we can affect the grid positively, but when we gather together as a group, it becomes even more exponential, and we get into like the doubling effect, how every person that's added doubles the power of the intention and the energy transfer that is basically happening as we infuse the grid with light. The beings say that what we will be doing on the Fire the Grid day on July the 19th, which is not far away, is we are going to be programming the new field. So Earth is already in the new field, and we are humanity, those of us that are choosing consciously to make the shift, are going to go with the Earth. And there's something that we are able to do right now, which is we can raise the bar and choose right now what our potential is going to be, because this is a window of time as we shift from the fourth to the fifth field where we can actually affect the level at which we will be entering. So Shelley talks about this metaphor where you have an egg and you're throwing it into some jello that you have just made, and it is just starting to set. And so this fifth field that we're moving into, it's just starting to set. It's just starting to become what it is, but it's very sort of flexible and malleable right now. And if you took that egg and you threw it into your bowl of jello, depending on how much energy you had behind it, it could go very far into the jello and it could set into the jello. And so that's basically what this Fire the Grid event is about. It's about creating the future that we want. So I'm going to stop the video now. I'm super excited about this. This is a really exciting opportunity for us, and if you want to be a participant, if this resonates as true for you, then please share this and share it quickly, because there's not a lot of time left before the event.